Let's talk about cost, because that is obviously the biggest barrier, I would say, to even think about this pathway. People who are looking for, or people who should be looking for it, are people who have a clear sense of at least the next decade that I plan to stay in the US, have the source of funds, which we'll talk about next. And I'm also hearing that someone who also has a clear incentive, that a kid or a career or opportunity that makes them want to stay in the US and doesn't want to come back to India because of that. Everyone hears the number 800,000. You just said it yourself too. Is that the full cost though? Because I've also heard 1 million in some places and even more. So what all goes into the cost, and what is the full cost like generally?
So cost of the EB-5 is definitely 800,000.
Okay.
It's written in the law, so it's not like it changes every day. However, there are other costs involved. What are the other costs? You need to hire a US licensed attorney who will do your paperwork. You need to pay USCIS fees. You will be working with a regional center. Most of them have an administrative fee cost. If you take all these ancillary costs together, you will be looking at anywhere between $40,000 to $80,000.
Wow.
So what I would say, ballpark, you should be getting ready for anywhere from $840 to $880.
Is the $800,000 for rural areas, or is that, because I've also seen 1 million for different areas?
Both. HUA, there are two types of projects, HUA and rural.
Okay.
They both are 800,000. Both of them are pegged at 800,000.
Okay, great. Now, source of funds. Where does this money usually come from for the people you've helped?
We've seen multiple source of funds. So before we get into the actual source, what is very important to understand is this 800,000 has to be money that you can clearly demonstrate that you've earned rightfully and belongs to you and you are in control of. Having said this, people have traditionally used savings. This could be in the form of mutual funds, market investments, direct equities, anything, or even private equity investments, right? We've also seen people use RSUs. We've also seen people use a gift from a parent or a loved one, right? All of this is okay, provided we are able to demonstrate this is rightfully earned.
Interesting. And is that where the majority of the paperwork lies?
Correct.
Okay.
So for example, a common source we often hear about is people will take a HELOC or line of credit on their home. Now, which is very easy, a bank does it. However, what is very complicated or challenging is what you will need to prove is how did you even put the money together to buy the house in the first place. Now remember, you may have bought that home 5, 7, 10 years ago, and we are now going back into that documentation and that source of fund. So while you're doing EB-5 in the present, what is challenging is we need to really shake our memory and go back in the past and understand how we funded those assets.
Interesting. Have people ever had an issue with finding those documents because they're so old?
There have been multiple instances. I'm sure it happens all the time, right? And I think that's where it is very imperative to work with experienced professional lawyers who guide you in this journey.